ay Karbala.
Hello, hello, hello. Assalamu alaikum. Ji ayanu. Pakhair ragale. Ni hao. Chunashumme. Washmale. Ohaya Gonzaimas. Guten Morgen. Hi, hugs and hellos. Hola, bonjour, and ciao, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning into PTV World. You're watching World this morning. Alongside the one and the only Shahzad Hassan Khan. Thank you very much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Today, it is definitely a wonderful and an amazing day. And there's a reason why I'm saying that. So usually what used to happen was that, whenever I was leaving for work from home, I might have underslept or I might have overslept. But today I feel as if, I got the perfect hours and my body does not require any more sleep. So I am full of energy, and it is great for me to be here on the show. For all of you guys who are out there, thank you very much for tuning in once again. There are a few things which I would love to discuss. But before discussing, I think what we need to do is that we need to probably take a look at what's going on in the globe. And then when you guys are going to come back, we'll talk about it in the public service message. So top stories coming up. Let's see what's happening in the world. Former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif will appear before Accountability Court in Islamabad today. A memorandum of understanding for construction of East Bay Expressway in Gwadar under the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor project was signed in Gwadar. China and Pakistan are close friends. Embassy of People's Republic of China to Pakistan organized a reception in Islamabad to celebrate the 68th anniversary of founding of China. Pakistan cricket team coach Mickey Arthur has said Pakistan is facing no fitness concerns ahead of first test against Sri Lanka. Last but not the least, two killer whales stole the show at a surfing competition in Unstad, Norway. Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, these were the top stories from around the world. But time now for a public service message. Let's see what I have to say. And I'm not very happy about it, but let's do it. Okay, so for all those people who are out there, I'm going to explain you one thing. And that is that, for example, if you got your driving license, you might be aware of it, but I don't know why we are not in a habit of practicing it. So when you get a double road, and we call a double road where you get 2 lanes over here and then 2 lanes on the other side as well for two-way traffic. So the right lane over here in Pakistan, as per the rules, is a fast lane. And then the left lane is a slower lane. So if you, by chance, leave your home early just because of the fact that you were in an argument with your wife or you didn't want it to stay longer at your home and you left earlier and you know that there's still time to reach, so why do you drive slow in the fast lane? Please don't do that. There are people who have actually calculated their time because that's how they calculate their schedule and that's how they want to be in their life. So when, for example, we get a turtle driver in the fast lane, it gets very annoying, and then you cannot honk because it doesn't really look nice early in the morning if somebody's honking. And in the Western world, honking is really abusive. So people do not honk. Because if they do, that means that they're doing something wrong. Even if you keep on dipping them, they won't change their lane. I just don't get it. So please make sure that the next time, if you want to drive slow, be in the slower lane. The right lane, for example, if you're driving, the right lane is a faster lane, and the speed limit over here in Islamabad is usually from 60 to 70 kilometers. Please do not drive at 20 kilometers per hour. It makes all the other people get late for work. Please don't do that, because we've calculated every single second and a minute. So this is our public service message for today. But right now, I think let's move on towards what we are talking about. So we are witnessing a change in the weather over here in Islamabad and all across Pakistan as well. We have had 6 or 7 months of quite a lot of heat, but in the evening we have witnessed that the coffee shops are getting filled up with people. And we all know that, you know, Pakistanis, they love coffee. I don't know why. I think that it is a Western influence as well, because, you know, when you go to England, probably, or to USA, the coffee shops are just full of people, and then people would love to go there prior to their work as well. Now, over here in Pakistan, we have witnessed 2 years ago, one of coffee shop was being opened, and the name was Cafe Barbera, and the origin is from Italy as well. And this is the 5th generation who are actually operating it or are handling with the operations. And let's talk about that. And it has been said that within the world, only 3 people know the recipe of blending those coffee beans. Now, this is one thing which I've heard about one of a very famous cola brand as well, that, you know, only quite a few number of people know about the recipe of that cola. But this is for the very first time, so we were very intrigued. We have called them on the show today. And with me, ladies and gentlemen, on my right-hand side, we have been joined by Dr. Enrico Barbera, who's from Italy. He's the CEO of Cafe Barbera, an Italian coffee house. Ciao, hello, assalamu alaikum.
Good morning to you, to all of you.
Thank you very much for joining us. It is definitely a pleasure to have you over here as well. I'll start from your experience of that prototype which you opened up in Lahore as well, because you operate in 70 more countries, but the business plan which work out through the world will not work out in Pakistan. That's what I feel. How do you think that prototype went, and now you're planning to open one more in Islamabad as well? Tell us about it.
Yes, it was a very important experience for us. You have a strong culinary culture. So being successful in a place where people understand so much about flavors was an important bet for us.
Okay.
So we did this extraordinary grand opening. It was very successful. We had to tune something in our menu, especially for the ingredients, a sort of mix of Italian ingredients with some Pakistani touch. But most of all, we are still very much appreciated for our coffees.
Yeah.
It's a unique experience in Cafe Barbera, Lahore. You are experiencing Italy. It's original. We are not an American company with an Italian name, with some Italian pictures. It's original Italian and represents this important opening in Lahore, the expansion all over Pakistan, and very soon in Islamabad too.
Amazing that is. Since I have never ever got the experience of, you know, tasting their coffee, but let's just ask about that too as well. So 5 generations down the line, and I hope and I know that it is not easy to look after a family business of such sort. So let's go back in time.
Statistically speaking, 80% of companies, they shut down because family issues and not because the product or the strategy. So only 50% all over the world family companies survive after the 3rd generation. The first one builds the business, has the vision. The second and 4th, the business. The 3rd lose everything. This is generally what happened.
But now, congratulations to you and to your family that you're operating in more than 70 countries now.
Yes.
And I think that's a fabulous thing, because I did my thesis when I was doing my master's, and it was about transfer of family business from one generation to another, and it was quite a lot of qualitative research. One aunt had to say something else, one uncle had to say something else. So how did you manage to cope up with that?
It's I have now the 6th generation, so I can tell you about the 6th generation. My son, he is working very close to me, and the first 5 to 10 years, depending on his skills, he has to listen. So he works close to me, he listens. Okay. Of course, he does intelligent question, we hope, but he never enter into a discussion with clients or with suppliers as soon as he has built his credibility. Same happens to me. I was working in a very silent position. As soon as I became more aware understanding, I was understanding the business, I start taking decisions that now brought the company at this global level.
Oh, that is amazing. I'll definitely ask you about when you were actually allowed to take your first ever decision. But before that, I want to take you back in 1870 when your grandfather's grandfather, for the very first time by the street, started selling coffee beans or coffee as well.
Yes.
Let's start from there. How did it all start?
It's very funny. He was a soldier working for Garibaldi, was an Italian hero. He was from North Italy. He came to Sicily. He met a lady. He fell in love. He left the army and he had to do some business. So he opened this little shop. He started selling.
So he left the army.
He left the army
just because of the fact that he was in
because
love
he
with
was in love with this lady. He wanted to stay in that area. So what to do? Let's be entrepreneur. And he opened this little shop, and he started roasting coffee on the street with a small roaster that we still have in our museum.
Wow.
In our company, there's this museum. And he was roasting these 300 grams of coffee on the street because of the smoke. And at that time, 1870, we are talking about 147 years back, the people, most of it, didn't know what coffee was. So when the people were walking on the street, there was this smell. And the people said, what is this? They didn't understand even what was. So they called him, they nicknamed him the magician, because he was doing something so magic, this flavor. And till that time, he decided to be his company, the magic of the coffee.
The magic
so
of
from
the
this
coffee.
nickname and the logo till today, I have here the logo. This guy, it's a magician of coffee. So the same logo we are keeping since 1870.
Very nice. And there's one more interesting thing while I was going through the profile of your coffee shop as well, and how did you all do that. So espresso originally came from Italy as well?
Italy, Naples specific, where we are based.
Okay.
Espresso means fast because we use in Italy to drink it standing on the bar, and it's a little quantity of coffee. So we drink like it were vodka.
Yeah, small cup, right.
This energizes us because the quantity of caffeine, and we go to work.
And when was the very first time when Cafe Barbera actually introduced espresso as well within their own cafes or coffee shops?
It happened in 2004 in Dubai. We needed an international place to understand and to, let's say, tune our business model. So in 2004, we did this in Sheikh Zayed Road, this first opening. And from there, we have
there was no looking back
global
as well.
position.
Okay,
yes.
so now I'll come back to the point where I wanted to ask you, when was the first time you took your own decision? Because obviously you told
The
us
wrong
about
or the
your
good
son.
one? The wrong or the good one?
Tell us about both of them, because you know there are so many other people who want to be entrepreneurs, who probably want to jump into this business, or somebody might even call you for a franchise after watching the show as well. So tell us what to do, what not to do, and what was your first good decision and the first bad one, and then what happened?
The good decision was to listen, who was my mentor.
Yeah.
The bad decision was before that I was criticizing him. So this was the bad, stupid decision, to take a position like all young people to don't understand how important is a transition.
Exactly.
It's always everything about transition, specifically for a family company. Family company are company who build their reputation under their family name.
Yeah.
Café Barbera is not an invented name. Barbera is our family name.
Yeah.
So to keep this trust, this credibility, you have first to teach to the young generation, to entrepreneur, important values of respect, of hard working, of having goals, of accepting mistakes and suggestions by people who already did these mistakes.
And it definitely comes from experience, I think.
Absolutely experience, of course, the vision. Without vision, you cannot be entrepreneur. And understanding that failures are maybe much important than success if you overcome the failures.
Exactly. So, you know, you very correctly mentioned about the vision as well. So let me just ask you about the vision and the mission of this family business.
I like this question.
Thank you very much.
When I took over the company, I was 25 only.
Okay.
And of course, I was spending most of my time understanding why we cannot grow, why we are in this market, very important market in Italy. But I was looking into the world, so big. And coffee expansion was starting, thanking to some important American concepts. They developed the culture of the coffee, not us, honestly speaking. So when I realized this, my vision was, I have to drink a cup of my coffee everywhere where I land.
All right.
So I start planning many, many exhibitions worldwide. So we start expanding through the coffee distribution.
Wow.
So the mission was to bring Barbera coffee and coffee shop today all over. I was thinking to travel.
So now wherever you go, you drink a cup of your own coffee?
I need still to work hard to do that, but we are in the right direction.
Okay, that
Absolutely.
is great. Thank you very much for sharing all the details about Cafe Barbera and the coffee shop and the history of it. And thank you. We definitely welcome you very warmly over here in Islamabad, since you have been operating in Lahore too. Now let's talk about all of those people who are entrepreneurs, who want to be entrepreneurs, or who probably started, they initiated with certain amount of capital, but then eventually the life cycle I've seen is very short. For example, if I compare it, well, there is no comparison because this is 5th generation down the line. Now, what happens is that people start a business and it goes down the line when they probably die or they leave the world, or probably there are other issues as well. Why do you think that this life cycles are being so short while you have actually managed to come down 5 generations?
I do believe it depends on the motivation of why you do business. Of course, the final goal is to make money in order to guarantee to your family, let's say, a good life. Of course, we look for a good life. But if you do this without passion, you cannot really keep the business for a long time, or at least to make this business successfully as much as you can, because some things are coming from outside. We had some problems in some countries because there was, in Florida, we have a coffee shop. In Florida, there was the tornado. We had to close for 2 weeks. We lost business, but we couldn't control. So whatever you can control, it goes through professionality and it goes through passion. I mean, I see you. I mean, you are passionate in your work. People feel this. They love you. This is the way to keep the business alive.
Thank you very much for saying that. But other than that, what kind of security do you get when you know that you have a family business? No matter how old you get, you still have a job. I mean, honestly, this is the best security you will ever get in your family. For example, the 4 generations have been working. Now it's your turn, since you were the 5th one and now the 6th one over there. What type of security do you get? I mean, I still feel like that, I should get some. Abuji, why didn't you do any of your businesses, man?
Yes, sometimes you have to give the management to third parties if the son doesn't has not all the
certain set of skills.
Yeah, skills.
I hope he's not listening.
No, I have 3 sons, so and I'm the one of 4.
Okay.
So my brother is a surgery doctor. He lives in Germany, so nothing to do with the management, but he's the shareholder.
Wow.
So at least it's to see in between your family members the people who has better skills, and they once again have the passion for it. Because young generation especially, they think money is something easy to gain.
Yes.
And this is what I'm trying to not to convert my son to this. So you have to work hard. He's currently in Dubai. He's now supporting our distributor. He's visiting all the clientele, because the biggest asset, this is important. Sorry if I interrupt you. I shouldn't. But the strongest asset for a company, it's the clientele.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't forget the clientele.
No, but he's living the life. Do you get my point? I mean, his father is definitely the CEO of the entire brand as well, which is all around the globe. You get so secure that, whatever degree you do, by the end of the day, you're going to be one of the management, or probably one of the person who's actually going to administer the entire operations. So how do you control this? One day, if your son calls you up and he's like, "Papa, this is something wrong. I want to do it this way." So then, how do you explain him?
He has to do mistakes.
Yeah.
But for this, we are creating some new business area, like for example, e-commerce.
Okay.
We have now a very nice e-shop. It's his project.
Wow.
He's asking me some budget. We negotiate. Sometimes we fight also. But he has to bring me something tangible from this.
So while you're working, it's not papa or son relationship.
Absolutely
it's
not.
It's a CEO and an employee relationship.
He has to knock on the door of my office. He enter like all employees.
But over here in Pakistan, it's very different. So what happens if your father gets to be the CEO and you know that you're going to probably have that chair? So what your father is going to do is that he's going to hire another 2 or 3 people who can probably think like your father and make that little boy work.
This is the very difficult part of this transition generation.
Exactly.
I used to, let's say, manage the situation like when you bring a dog to, so you can have 1 meter of this, so you control everything, but it hurts you a long time. I have the American one, the long one. He goes, he runs. When I decide, I stop. But he was running, so he's happy. But he knows he's still connected to me with this long.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is the way, in very, let's say, simple explanation, how you have to deal, I think, with next generations generally. Let them feel important. Let them give space. They are revolutionary. Most of them inside, they're revolutionary. Everything we do is wrong. But let them feel this freedom, but at the same time, let build on them the important values, that there's no generation for values, good values, positive values.
Amazing. And how important do you
think?
think...
the foundation of everything.
And how important do you think is patience?
I do everything I do in my life with patience, whatever. If I have to take this newspaper,
that's why you got that American one.
Eh?
That's why you've got that American leash as well, which is long enough. So, okay, so you're controlling.
I control everything, of course. But I try to don't let people feel controlled by me. This is, I think, a little bit the secret.
Very nice. It is just superb. And ladies and gentlemen, I think for everybody who just wanted to learn, I think he's given away quite a lot of information. But now, let's talk about one of the cafes which is going to be in Islamabad. You're still working on it?
Yes, I'm here especially for that. Yesterday we went to the E6, E7 area, So we did some site scouting with my partners, very nice people. I love them, and we will, in these 2 days I'm still here, we will do some feasibility, and I do believe by the first quarter of 2018. You will be one of our VIP guests. I hope that will open our store here in Islamabad. Very strategic for us.
Thank you very much for saying that. But whenever we talk about franchise business, what I've heard over here, you know, since we go to all of these fast food chains or other coffee chains which are over here, they usually say that the beans they come from, for whatever the origin of the franchise is or probably the chain is. So is that how it works as well for Café Barbera?
Yeah, the good things with Café Barbera, the extraordinary thing, let me say, that we do the beans.
Okay, so you do the beans.
Personally, I select the beans worldwide. We roast the beans. We blend the beans following a secret recipe that only 3 people know in my company.
Are you one of them?
I'm one of them, so if my airplane crashes, there will be only 2.
So God forbid.
It's very important to understand about the product you want to sell. It's not just about the machine, it's not just about the location, it's about how you manipulate the product. Coffee is an ingredient.
Exactly.
So if you know very well about the ingredient, if you guarantee the quality and the standardization of the quality of this ingredient, you can be successful in the experience of our clientele. It's unique. It's again, once again, it's made in Italy. We are original. Maybe we'll be the only Italian coffee shop that it's roasting his own coffee here in Islamabad.
Amazing, but even though that that the recipe lies within the hands of only 3 people, but the taste can vary geographically as well. Somebody might like it over roasted, somebody might not like it roasted as well. There can be different choices, there can be different opinions. So do you think that you are going to do sample testing over here?
Trying to please clientele is one of our goals, of course. But we have a strong culture and heritage about coffee. My ambitious project is to bring my taste to the people. They have to experience our coffee. They have to be pleased by our coffee. Okay, if they want a little bit more this and this, we will try to do. But our goal is to let them experience, of Café Barbera, that kind of beans, slowly roasted, blended. We have 7 different types of beans in our blend.
Wow.
So it's a unique experience, the taste, the aftertaste. You would be addicted. We call it healthy drug, the coffee, in our industry. So it's very important to bring your culture wherever you go.
Did you go around in Islamabad experiencing different coffee houses as well, just to check how does it taste? Or because we over here like it more sugary as well, more sweet.
Sugar you can add, but the coffee, the ingredient should be that one. Of course, if you special ladies likes a more sweet taste, generally they ask for cappuccino or macchiato. Anyway, we have 18 coffee-based variations. So if you like more milk taste, if you like creamy, if you like cinnamon taste, we have everything. But me has coffee producers, and let me say one of the most experienced,
Sure.
I would like to say worldwide after 147 years, I would first like people to taste what is the real coffee, then we add whatever you want.
That is great. I think this was a very fruitful conversation. But one last thing, and that is that Cafe Barbera is not just going to be a simple coffee shop. You're obviously going to serve food as well. And for all the coffee shops we have over here in Islamabad, probably which I've experienced, the only thing they offer is waffles probably or sandwiches. What else are we going to get in Cafe Barbera?
The industry, it's going to putting more food items into the coffee shops menus. This is worldwide. And because our Italian culinary experience, we have today, and you can experience Lahore, a variety of pastas, even pizza inside our coffee shop. And this is more business speaking to increase our revenues. Nothing to do with coffee, that is our passion and our love.
Amazing. Thank you very much for being with us, Mr. Dr. Enrico Barbera. It was definitely a pleasure for us to have you on the show. And for all those people who are out there, if you want any feedback or if you want to know where the Lahore franchise is, well, we can ask him directly as well.
Don't put me in crisis. I don't remember. I was there 2000.
Do you know the area? It's in Gulbarg, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to go get a taste of it or get a scent of it, because it's the magician's work, which actually came to Pakistan. So thank you very much, Dr. Enrico.
Big pleasure for me.
It was a pleasure. Nice. And for all those people who are out there, ladies and gentlemen, we're definitely going for a short break. Don't go anywhere, because when we guys are going to come back, we're going to talk about conservation. Well, they conserved coffee beans. Now we're going to call somebody who's conserving something else. Let's take a break. Good morning.
Book is life. Book is hope. And book is light for the future.
The largest cultural activity in Pakistan is the annual National Folk Festival, Lok Mela, held in Islamabad in October each year. Over the past 2 decades, this festival has taken on an international flavor, and more than 20 different countries have sent their artisans and performers to participate in the festival. Nationally, the festival has become a thing of pride for artisans and performers who come on their own to participate. Most important of all, the provinces of Pakistan and Azad Jammu and Kashmir put up beautifully decorated pavilions, and visitors had the unique opportunity to see an assortment of Pakistan's traditionally rich culture in the federal capital of Islamabad for an exciting 10 days. An exhibition of artisans at work under the banner of the Heritage Museum forms the core of this festival. Pavilions of each province depict their own regional culture and crafts. The Research and Media Center of Lok Virsa arranges groups of dancers that perform all over the festival grounds, inviting visitors to join in, and in the evening arranges music concerts from all parts of Pakistan. This festival is a true depiction of the diversity found in Pakistani culture. Fairs and Festivals of Pakistan.
right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for everybody who just got tuned into PTYU watching World this morning alongside Shahzad Khan. Today, ladies and gentlemen, earlier we were in conversation with Dr. Enrico Barbera, who was from Italy, and he's the CEO of Cafe Barbera. They're opening one more franchise over here in Islamabad. Earlier, they've opened one in Lahore too, and it dates back to 1870. Oh my God, man. If it is dating back to 18th century, I think that they have been conserving coffee beans and the practice of how coffee is being made, and they're known as magicians in Italy as well. So all the very best. But now let's talking about conservation, ladies and gentlemen, for all those parents who are out there. This is a very important segment, first of all, and you have to listen to me very carefully and to this one gentleman who's with me. So this guy was actually found out to be dyslexic earlier in the years. And when he went to school, obviously there might be a lot of kids who really didn't like him, or probably he wanted to be friends with them, but they didn't really make friends. But then he, by himself and with all the efforts from his parents, thought that, you know, he definitely has something, some potential. So he started focusing. And when he started to focus, a new window of opportunity opened up, and he started to volunteer for WWF, and now he's trying to help all of those animals who are on the street, or probably all of those people who are stealing animals from off the streets and selling them somewhere else. This gentleman, before I introduce to you, has got 2 awards. Here they are, these certificates, and namely there are the Certificate of Appreciation for helping WWF Pakistan to stop illegal wildlife trade. The second one is Certificate of Appreciation by IWMB to signify the conservation efforts, and award of ₹10,000. What a great deal. Nobody can tell that he's dyslexic. Now he's done such good work that everybody wants to be his friend. He's none other than Mr. Mohibullah Naveed. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Just I'm fine, sir.
Thank you very much for coming over. Thank you very much for joining us. First of all, first things first, I'm proud of you. The entire country is proud of you. But now let's go back in time. So when did you get to know that you are dyslexic?
Basically, my parents took me to a psychologist 2 years back, and I didn't know that anything what is dyslexia. I was unaware of that.
Okay.
So when they took some written tests, and they told me that, do you know that you are dyslexic? And I was amazed. I was not expecting this, because I was not familiar with it. So when they told me that you are dyslexic, and you will have some problems in your studies, for example, subjects like maths and different subjects that gets complicated, so it was becoming very difficult
Hard
for me.
you.
Yes.
Yeah. So then you got to know that you're dyslexic.
Yes.
All right, but it never stopped you. You still go to the school, and you're still trying,
Yes.
and you're still trying to learn as well.
Yes.
So what happened when your friends got to know that you're dyslexic?
Like they.
And then what understanding do you have of dyslexia?
Basically, I know that it is learning, like a person who is learning difficulty. The person who is having dyslexia, he will it will be difficult for him or her to learn, especially complicated science subjects like maths and all these. So catching concepts is difficult.
So the only thing which I think, or I assume, that you find difficult is maths.
Yes.
Yeah, because you cannot understand what's happening,
yes.
and you have that difficulty in learning. And I think that, you know, it was a very amazing initiative by your parents that they took you to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I think they did a great job, Uncle, Auntie. You've done a great job as well. So then you started to think that, okay, even if I am dyslexic, if Allah has taken one thing away from me, He might have given me something else,
yes.
right? Then what happened?
Then the bonding between nature and me was like, I love nature a lot from
Since
a very
ever.
young age.
All right.
So what I did, I came to know about WWF Pakistan, and I don't know how this happened, and I still can't believe. I met some people who encouraged me a lot,
Yeah.
and they, like you can say, they give me a lot of information about wildlife, and they encouraged me to go in this field. They even take me I visited different places, and it was full of wildlife. So I came to this field just because of those people, because I didn't even knew about what is wildlife and what is the importance of it in ecosystem. I didn't knew anything.
All right.
But because of those people, I am here.
All right. So now let's start talking about it. So when did you realize Because, you know, I just got to know about from your father and from your mother that you've got a lot of pets at your home, you've got
Yes.
a lot of birds, and you look after them really well as well. So since very early childhood years, you knew that you have a connection with nature,
Yes.
and then you ended up doing wildlife conservation, and that too voluntarily. It's not your job, you just want to do it. Why do you want to do it?
My main aim is to protect wildlife for our future generations.
Okay.
Because
Okay, now first of all, sorry, I'm pausing you over here. Because you just mentioned, and I think this is a very great point, what do you think is the importance of wildlife in ecosystem?
every species of wildlife has a very important role in our ecosystem. So I would like to give you an example of freshwater turtles.
Sure.
You know that they play a very important role in freshwater ecosystem. What they do is that they clean the water for fish. And if you take out the freshwater turtles, if you finish all the freshwater turtles, there will be no fish in the pond.
Really?
Yes, because they work as a natural filter. They filter the water.
Amazing. So people are not even aware of that. People, I think, probably just take out
Yes,
turtles. and
they
then
are the
take
most
them to-
illegally traded reptiles.
Exactly.
They are taken out of their habitat in thousands of numbers.
And then what do you do to stop it? Because, you know, this is what I've seen over here, that, you know, you got a certificate of appreciation for helping WWF Pakistan to stop illegal wildlife trade. Where was this illegal trade happening?
What I done was that in Islamabad, there were different shops in which wildlife was being sold openly.
Really?
Yes, and no one didn't even, people knew about that, but they didn't know that is it illegal or not, because our mostly public is not aware about wildlife at all.
Okay.
So what I did, I visited different shops and I noticed the species that were being sold over there. So I made the whole list and handed over to the concerned departments. And on my information, they did raids, and wildlife turtles and different other species were confiscated, and they were released back to their habitat.
So, for example, when you go to buy a bird, do
Yes.
you actually check whether this is illegal to
Yes.
buy or not?
Basically, there are two things that are important to keep in mind. That if it is an exotic species that is not found in our country, then it is legal to keep.
Okay.
And some exotic species also require licenses.
Okay.
But our local species that are threatened, for example, turtles, you can't keep them as pets. It is illegal and it is a crime to keep them.
Really?
Yes, turtles and other local species such as falcons, people keep them. So it is illegal because their number in wild is declining.
But are we talking about those pocket turtles, or are we talking about the bigger ones?
No, basically we have 8 species and some of them are big in size, like soft shell turtles, and the hard shell turtles are small in size. So basically exotic turtles are also being sold in Pakistan, but mostly local turtles are available.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, amazing. So now let's move from turtles. Tell us about some other animals as well.
Some other animal I would like to talk about pangolin.
Yeah,
you
penguins.
you must have heard about it. It is a small mammal and it is also found in Pakistan.
Really?
Yes.
Where is it found in Pakistan?
Basically, what I have information, it is found in district Chakwal.
Penguins?
Pangolin.
Pangolin, all right, yeah, I
Pangolin
get
is
it, I
a
get
small
it.
mammal. So it is one of the most threatened mammals in the world, and the reason is that they are hunted for their scales. They have scales, and in international market they have a huge demand.
Okay.
In black market, so people sell them, and you can become rich in only few days if you have a pangolin. You can sell them, and
I hope that you're not giving a bad idea to somebody who's not very
People are
good
doing
with
it.
his thoughts. Yeah, people are doing it, and you are there to stop them as
Yes.
well. What do you think is the role of WWF? Try to explain to all of those people who are out there.
Basically, WWF Pakistan is an NGO
Yeah.
that is working for the conservation of natural resources.
Okay.
And it's one of the main aim is to protect the endangered wildlife species as well. The major project that WWF is having is Indus River Dolphin project, that is another endangered species. Then WWF is trying to stop illegal wildlife trade as well. They are doing research on it, and a proper strategy is being made, and all the concerned stakeholders are being involved to make a united team to stop this crime.
All right, amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we have done is that we have even taken an initiative to make you aware of what a pangolin looks like, so that if somebody else is trading them illegally, please make sure that you stop them. Please let us know whether this is a pangolin or not. All right, go ahead.
Yes, this is an
Yes,
Indian
this
pangolin.
is a pangolin, and I've seen it. I've seen it over here in Islamabad too as
Yes,
well. Quite
it
a
is
lot of
also
times
found in
they're
Islamabad.
crossing
Yes.
the roads
Yes,
as well.
yes.
And what are their scales used for?
They are used for some medical purposes. Like people believe in the mostly traditional medicine makers. They believe that it can cure different diseases, but science haven't proved it.
All right, science hasn't proved it as of yet, but now, okay, thank you very much that you're doing a good job. Now, I want to come back to a point where your parents have been so supportive of the fact that they know that you suffer from a disease. Well, I'm certainly not sure whether to call it a disease, but it is a learning difficulty. It's not even a disability. So you do not really have to be very problematic with that. So what would you say to all of those parents who are out there who really do not concentrate on their kids' education? As a matter of fact, the way your parents did, they took you to a psychiatrist and had an understanding that this is what our son is going through. What will you say to all of those parents? Because obviously you might be facing so much difficulty in your exams. Whenever your result came out, you know, the numbers were low, especially in mathematics. Well, I think I was dyslexic too because I kind of used to fail mathematics quite a lot of times. Sorry, Abu. All right, so go ahead.
What I would suggest that the parents whose children are dyslexic, they must give attention to them. They must
What kind of attention?
like they must know what problems they are facing in their education, like in which subjects they are going weak and why they're not improving. There must be a reason. Maybe they don't understand anything. Maybe they're weak in concepts.
Now, for example, if it would have been my father, luckily my mother never let me keep pets at home because she thought that, you know, I'm going to create a mess and I'm not going to clean the cages and whatnot. So my father would have said, if, for example, I've got hundreds of birds at home, my father would have said, you know, all day around, you roam around with the birds, who's going to study now?
Yes,
so
this is one of them.
Do you get this comment as well at times?
Yes,
कि तुम इधर
sometimes.
उधर ही फिरते रहते हो, पढ़ना किसने?
Yes, sometimes this happens.
Sometimes this happens.
Yes.
So then how do you recover from that?
Then what I do is that I go into the room and I started studying for more than an hour and tell my parents that, see, I have studied, now you can let me go and I can enjoy with my pet.
All right, amazing. Thank you very much, Mohibullah
Thank you, sir.
Naveed, for being with us. You're definitely a proud son of the soil, and it was lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. I'm going to give these certificates back to you. And we do have a lovely surprise as well for you, which we are going to give you off air because we really do not want to show off. But people, if you want to get in touch with Mohibullah, because he's a volunteer, he's a wildlife conservative as a volunteer, and he's got quite a lot of information, you can definitely contact us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of World This Morning. On Twitter, it's World This Morning, it's without a G. On Dailymotion and YouTube, it's World This Morning. The fabulous repeat's going to be at 11 p.m. tonight. Look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Stay energetic, stay resolved. Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you.